Thanks for joining me today. It's Sam, and today I'm working on carburetors from our 1994 Kawasaki Vulcan 500. This bike's been sitting for a couple years. It got me back into motorcycling almost 10 years ago, and so it's time for me to return the favor. First thing we've got to do is get everything unscrewed and bolted. Starting on top of the diaphragm side, these diaphragms are little rubber membranes held in place by a spring, so make sure that you hold onto the cover when you unscrew it, otherwise it'll go flying across your shop. Inside we have our spring, a needle, and a slide. Mine's a little gunky, but not awful. Be careful removing the slide though, because it's easy to tear those rubber diaphragms, and good quality ones can be expensive. Showing off some of the gunk from my needle. I've noticed some of the rebuild kits, I do plan to rebuild these carbs, but some of the rebuild kits have weird tapers to their needles, and when I can, I try to reuse mine. So this one looks just fine. So now we just gotta disassemble the second side. Flipping the carb upside down gives us access to the fun side. Let's go ahead and remove the 4 screws holding the float cover on. I should note that these are Japanese industrial screws and not Phillips. I learned this too late. I've stripped most of mine out, so I'll be replacing them during a rebuild. Float's pretty dirty, my bowl's pretty dirty, it's got some varnish in there and some gunk. We'll make sure to clean all of that out. Time to disassemble the second side. Second side, it's pretty dirty too. Some old gas in here. Ugh. Oftentimes the first piece to remove is just this gasket. These are a little bit stiff. Next I'm going to check the play in my floats. The floats are these orange things, and so they will float in gasoline to help you determine the proper amount of fuel that should be going into the engine at a given time. To take these off, there's a little pin that holds them in place. You can use a screwdriver or something with a tip on it, or just kind of smack the side of it, and eventually it'll come out of place. When you remove the floats, you will have this little float valve attached to it. So be careful not to damage the spring or hook that holds it in place. And then we can inspect the float valve also. So the float valve has this little compressible nub on the end. And make sure that that all has good action, everything works. We'll be replacing these with a rebuild kit on my carbs, but really, these old parts don't look to be in too bad of shape. I think I'll go ahead and clean them too, and just keep them on hand for some spares or extras. Oftentimes when we replace our floats, which I'll be doing today, we will need to calibrate or reset our float height, which should be part of an upcoming video. Alright, so inside our bowls with our floats and float valves and all that fun stuff removed, we've got our jets. So this is what really pushes gasoline to the rest of the engine. The first jet to remove is our main jet, and we can just do this using a flat screwdriver. This jet is used for high load, high throttle situations, so the main part of riding. Unscrew and inspect this jet. Mine is surprisingly not too dirty. You can actually see through it. Next we're going to use an 8mm wrench. So that 8mm wrench is going to attack the needle jet. The needle jet works with that jet needle that we pulled out with the slide to handle the mid-range. And so this is kind of your just cruising down the road, or maybe some of the roll-on after you get through the initial RPM bump of giving it some throttle. Looking at the second side, that one's not too dirty either. And then finally, with a long, flat screwdriver, we're going to remove the final jet in our way. That's the idle jet, and it's used for, well, idling. So you can kind of think of these 3 jets as having overlapping fuel zones based on what you're looking for from the engine. So wide open for the main jet, cruising for the needle jet, and just idling for the idle jet. So there's different techniques to tune different symptoms when we're having problems with carburetors, but hopefully with some wishful thinking, we won't have to get into any of that with this rebuild. You may have to shake the carbs around a little bit to get these little hidden jets to fall out, but that's okay. This is about as disassembled as I want to get it. The next step, we're just going to spray all this with a gentle helping of carb cleaner. So while spraying this down, it's worth noting you probably shouldn't spray this on any painted parts. Try to avoid rubber parts, so on and so forth. It's primarily good for metal. And a good time to say, leave a comment if I've said anything incorrect or messed up along this process. After we give it a good spray down, we're going to let it dry for a while and then put it back together with our rebuild kit. Do these steps in reverse. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more teardown videos. And yeah, look at the next video where we rebuild these things.